Hello.
Hello,
Okay.
hello.
Welcome, everybody. If anybody is here yet, my name is Megan Sullivan. I am a senior software engineer at Gatsby. I work mainly on our documentation, and I am joined today by Kirsten. Kirsten, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm Kirsten Lambertsen. I'm a senior product manager at Gatsby.
Woo. Okay, so today what we are going to do is the second part in a segment that we're calling Megan's Coding Corner, branding. And so this is going to be where we go through the new Gatsby tutorial. So I guess 2 weeks ago, we had Generosa Litton come on, and she did part 1 with us, where we created a new Gatsby site and got it deployed onto Gatsby Cloud. And now we're going to do part 2. So, Kirsten, do you want to... Actually, I guess let me add this window back up. So what we're going to do today is part 2 of this tutorial. Oh, I guess before I get started, some quick ground rules, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. I want everybody who's tuning in to know that you belong here, and that if something is confusing, that's on me, that's not on you. So just let me know in the chat if it's not making sense, or if there's something that you need me to back up and repeat. The goal of these is to be helpful for you all, no matter what your experience is with Gatsby or React or web development. So let me know, help me help you. And then also be kind to each other in the chat. Know that everybody is on their own learning journey. And so just because you know something doesn't mean that other people do. So share what you know. And also, last one, be kind to yourself. So learning a new skill can be scary and hard, and nobody is born knowing any of this stuff. So try to keep a growth mindset and just know that you'll get there when you get there. Okay, that out of the way. Now we're going to jump into part 2 of the tutorial. So I'm going to drop a link in the chat to the Gatsby tutorial. Oop. Okay, and then we are specifically going to look at part 2 today. So if you scroll down, Kirsten, you can see there's part 0, which is installing stuff. There's part 1, which is creating and deploying your first Gatsby site. If you missed that, you can check out on our YouTube channel. There's a recording of that. And today we're going to do part 2. So using and styling React components. And I'll drop a link to that section in here too. Whoops, that's the same link. Ignore me. This is the link to part 2. There we go. Okay, so I guess, Kirsten, how much experience do you have with React stuff?
A little bit. I've done way more in Angular, but
Nice.
modern Angular, so at least I kind of get it. But I'm not a regular React user. I need to do that.
Sweet. Well, you're in the right place. If I haven't used any Angular stuff, so in an ideal world, we'd be able to compare React things to Angular things, but maybe next time as we go along, you can find the parallels.
Modern Angular definitely has moved its way more towards the React way of doing things, in my very
nice
amateur opinion. So yeah, I think I'll be able to. But nonetheless, I haven't used React a lot, so this is going to be great for me.
Sweet. Okay, cool. So if you were here last time, Generosa and I did the beginning of this part, just because part 1 didn't end up taking as long as we thought. So today we'll do a recap of what we covered then, just in case you're joining for the first time. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So we've got this new Gatsby site that Kirsten, you made this earlier and went through part 1. So let's get this up and running locally. So do you remember the command to run?
I think it's Gatsby develop.
Woo! Awesome. So you'll just run that from the top level of your project. And then that'll take a second to get going. Sweet. Okay. And now you can go to localhost 8000 and we'll just see where we're at so far.
Ta-da!
Whee! You got a site. So this is the site that's sort of the like default starter that you'll get when you create a new site by following the tutorial. But you know, we don't want just a default. We want to make this look like what we want it to look like. So we're going to go into this. If you go into this page is source/pages/index, and that's going to be the home page for your site. So we're just going to delete everything that's in there right now, and we can make a new one from scratch. I know we're going totally custom.
We're going YOLO, baby. Okay, so everything from line 3 down?
Yeah, all of it.
Okay, but are we keeping that the import React statement?
You can delete that too.
Do you want to delete it too so that we do everything from beginning?
Yeah, let's do everything.
Totally empty document. Okay. Even export default. Okay.
Yeah. So we're just going to do it. Thanks. Oh, that's good.
That's a good thing.
Okay. So the way that React, I guess, can you go over back over to the tutorial, and we're going to like scroll down and look at a picture. Okay. So, can you go down and look at that? Yeah, that photo. Okay. So the way that React works, if you're new to it, it breaks down your user interface into things called components. So it's basically like a chunk of your UI that you can like split it up into smaller chunks so that you can think about like one piece of your site at a time. So if you look at this picture, actually, can you make this picture bigger?
You bet. I can just.
That works.
We need more browser.
more screen.
More browser, please.
Always. Yeah.
Okay. How's that?
So yeah, that's perfect. So here you've got like a picture of a store UI, and you can see that like this site is broken down into different component chunks. So there's like a nav bar at the top. There's like a sidebar on the side. And then you could also have like a product grid for the main section of your site that shows all of your products. And you can also have components inside of components. So this is something called composition, which is basically having things made up of other things. So here you've got your product grid component is made up of smaller product card components, where a product card is just like one product. And then by combining them all, you get the whole grid. So what we're going to do is we're going to build out a couple of different types of components. So we're going to build out a page component today. So that'll be like this whole UI all encased in one thing. And then we'll also take a look at some of these smaller components a little bit later.
Cool.
So if you scroll down, there should be another picture soon. Yeah, this one. So a React component is basically just a function that returns a React element. And a React element is just like a way of representing your DOM structure in your page. So our React elements that we're going to write are written in something called JSX, which is, I think it stands for JavaScript extension. And it sort of looks like HTML. So if you look at this code snippet right there, yeah, so you can see the first one, that's a React element. So the element is just that like JSX chunk, the H1 hello world closing H1. And that tells React, like, this is what we want the DOM structure to look like for this element. And then your component is going to be this second code block here. So you've got a greeting component, which is a function that returns that JSX element. So that's like a little bit in the weeds of the syntax, but hopefully that'll help help this all make sense later. So first step that we're going to do is create a page component for our for our home page. So if you go into your index file again, there's 3 steps to creating a component. So the first one is what Kirsten pointed out earlier. You have to import React. So it's going to be import star as React from React. Yeah, and then the second React is going to be lowercase and in quotes. So that's like the name of the React library. And you're basically saying import this React. Is it an object? I don't actually know what it is, but import the like stuff from React from this lowercase React library. Okay. And that's going to let you use JSX syntax inside of your .js file. Otherwise, it would be like, I don't know what this is. Why are you trying to put HTML in here? Okay, so that's the first step, import React. Second step is going to be to define our component. Okay. So you're going to say const, what should we call it? Const homepage. And typically the convention is to have your components capitalized just to make it easy to see.
Okay. And I'm doing const equals?
So you'll do const homepage first.
Okay.
Sweet. And then equals.
Oh, gotcha.
And now you'll define the function part. So you'll have your parentheses and then the arrow.
Okay. And this is where you'll need to help me a little bit because I don't do JavaScript a lot. Is it equals arrow?
It's equals and what is
and
that?
The caret?
Greater than.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you'll do opening and closing brackets.
Okay.
Okay. And then inside of there, you'll do your return statement. So I usually put a new line in there just so that it like spreads it out a little bit. There's also a code block of this. If you go to
the example.
If you go into the tutorial and scroll down a little bit, it should be in the instructions here. Yeah. So it'll be right here. So you can see the 3 steps. The first one is importing React.
Okay.
The second step is going to be defining your component. So here it's called index page. You can call it home page. It doesn't really matter.
Okay. So let's use that. Shall we use that to make our lives easier?
Because love to copy paste.
Because it's okay to be lazy when you're coding.
It is. We're learning, and there's lots to think about.
In fact, it's good.
You don't have to struggle with syntax. Okay, so here you can see we are returning a main element, and inside of that we've got a title of homepage. We've got a header saying welcome to my Gatsby site. And we've got a p tag, a paragraph saying I'm making this by following the Gatsby tutorial. So if we, and so now the third step is going to be to export your component. And that's just going to let Gatsby know, hey, this is a component that we can use in other files.
But we need to call this homepage now, right? Instead of
yes, that has to match what you called it.
Now I didn't camel case up here. Do I need to camel case for the export?
I usually camel case stuff.
So this should be camel cased as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter, but
alrighty.
Okay, sweet. So now if you save this file, you should see so see how in your terminal it like started rebuilding your site again?
Yep.
So once you go back, if you go back here and refresh your page, you should see, ta-da, you did it. So the cool thing about this pages directory is that every component that you make in here is going to be its own page on your website. So that routing gets set up automatically. You just have to have it defined in this source/pages directory.
Nice.
So with that in mind, Kirsten, I'm going to sort of like put you on the spot and see if you can create another page that's an about page instead.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's see, in VS Code, do we do like Make a new file?
Yeah.
Okay. Will that work?
Yeah, I
did
usually
work.
like right click on the directory.
Yeah.
If you right click on the directory, it should be an option that'll say like, oh, make a new.
I have to do on my Mac. I have to do Control. Okay, new file.
There you go.
Does that make more sense? There we go.
Yep.
And we're going to call it about.js.
Sure. Sounds good.
Now we're in there.
Okay.
And so I'm totally going to not cheat. I'm totally going to make sure that I don't make any typos just by copying all this stuff. So I'm going to, going to have trouble with
and there's actually that, do you see like on the very right of that code block, there's that copy button.
Oh,
you can click that and it'll automatically, pro tip.
Okay. Next time I will do that because, I'm going to do it now. I'm just going to do it. Okay. Let's just overwrite that. Okay.
Sweet.
Okay. And I'm going to get rid of the comments. So.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because that's just craft. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Sweet.
Dave. Oh, we wanted to call this now about page.
Yep. Sounds good.
Okay. And down here, about page. And then about page. Hey, welcome to my about page. I'm about to be a pro. Gatsby. Dev.
Woo! I like it. That's the kind of energy I want to see.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Save.
So we save it. So now, well, there's one small thing. So right now, see how your about page is just inside of the source directory? You need it to be inside of pages. Yeah. So let's scooch that on in there. I think you can just click and drag it. Yeah.
Nice. This is why people like VS Code.
There you go.
Okay. Just for everyone's knowledge, this is my first time using VS Code. I'm getting with the program just for this. Okay.
Learning all kinds of things. Okay. So now if you go back into localhost.
Okay.
And go to localhost 8000/about.
Gotcha.
Ta-da! There you go.
Nailed gratifying.
It. Yeah. So any page that you create in this source directory or source pages directory like this, the name of the route, so like what's in the URL path, is going to match the name of the file. So because this was about.js, it's going to be at /about. If you called it contact.js, it would be /contact, and so on.
Very nice.
So that you can actually do a lot just with this for creating pages for your site. But what we're going to do now is look at how we can make components, like have other components within our pages. So if you go back to the tutorial, the next section is going to be about, scroll down.
Yep, we did all that.
Woo.
Nice.
Okay. Great. So now we're going to learn about this link component. And this one is predefined by Gatsby. It's a component that they do the like import, define the component, export it for us so that we can just import it and use it within our own components. So these sort of like smaller components, we just gave them the name of like building block components for the sake of this tutorial. So you've got like page components, which contain the UI for an entire page. And then you've got these building block components that you can put together in different combinations to build up your pages. So just in case you are like trying to Google stuff later, building block components is not going to show you anything. But it was just a term that we thought helped explain the difference between those two types.
Love it.
So basically what the link component does is it gives you better performance on links within your site. So we're going to use this to make like a tiny nav bar component. So the way, let's go over to the index page again. So to our home page. So the way that you import the link component is up at the top. So on like line 2, you're going to import, and then inside of curly brackets, because this is not the default export, you're going to put link with a capital L. Yep. And then outside of the curly brackets, you're going to do from Gatsby, and Gatsby will be in quotes. So this is saying from the Gatsby package, give me the link component that's defined in there.
Okay.
DIY linting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now the way that you use this is similar to the way that you would use an A tag, an anchor from HTML. So let's just go inside of your homepage. Yeah. So in there, you're going to put a new line, and then you're going to put a link component. So it's going to look the same. Yeah, it's going to look the same as an HTML element, but you'll want the L to be capitalized.
Oh, alrighty.
And I think that's part of the reason why you capitalize those component names by convention, is so that it makes it easier to like look through this JSX and be like, oh, that's a component. That's an element.
It changed the color.
Woo! Nice.
When we did
so
that.
Then inside of here, this similar to an A tag, you'll have like the text that you want to link.
Okay.
So we're going to add a link to our about page. So you can call it about page.
Oh, so this is my text that I'm going to link. Okay. About page.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet. And then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to pass in something called a prop. So this is sort of like an attribute in an HTML element. It's basically like a property, like a piece of data that you're passing into this link component. So after your link, actually, maybe it's easier to look in the tutorial. If you go back to the tutorial and then scroll down, there should be another picture that's sort of like, oh yeah, that component with props.
This right here, this code sample?
Yeah. So see how there's on that highlighted line, there's a 2. Yeah, that's called a prop. Gotcha. And that's basically your way of like passing in parameters into your component functions.
So cool. So easy. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that.
Sweet.
Oh, no space. Okay, there we go. Woohoo!
Nice.
All right.
So now you can take, actually, if you save this file, you should see it rebuild. Yep, there it goes. And then if you go back to your homepage now, you should see, you might have to refresh it. There you go. Actually, can you make the font bigger? Like just make the text bigger. I think if you do Command+.
Yeah, I can just increase the size of what we're looking at.
Yeah, that's
here.
perfect.
Okay.
I got bad eyes. Okay, great. So now if you click on that About page link, then it takes you to the page. Nice. So now I'm going to have you do the same thing on the About page. So make your About page link back to your homepage.
Nice. Okay.
How you do? You're going to be great.
All right. So I'm going to totally copy what I had here to speed things up. Go to my About. Paste it there. Change this to index.
Oh, so you got an error. Let's see. What does it say?
Something terrible happened.
Yeah, no, it's the first error. Error means you're about to learn something. It's
Link
good.
is not defined.
Okay, cool. So let's go back and look at your other file and see what's different.
I used the file name index.
Yep. So this is saying that it doesn't know what link is.
Because we didn't import something.
Boom. Look at her.
Yeah. Okay. We didn't import link. Thank you for that hint.
Yeah. Well, thanks for these are the kinds of errors that you run into all the time when you're actually building a site. So it's helpful to like see them happen organically in the wild.
Yes. Yes. And it's always things like that.
Yeah.
People always think, oh my God. And it's like, oh, I just forgot.
Right. It
thing.
feels very scary in the moment, but it's not that bad.
I do remember those days. Okay. Homepage. Let's make sure it works. Oh.
Okay. So this is interesting. So because you've got /index, index is sort of the like special case where it will just be a slash for your index for your. So
I should get rid of the word index there.
Yep. So you'll just have it be a slash.
Of course. You know, when I put index in there, that felt funny. I thought, whoa, hello. Okay.
There we go.
Try it again.
Boom.
That worked.
Look at you. Linking it away.
Joy and elation.
Yeah. So that's an example of like a pre-built component that somebody else wrote and you can import and use in your site however you want.
Cool.
So later on, we'll learn about plugins, about they like let you add new features to your site. And one of those examples of features could be a component. So next time in a couple weeks, 2 weeks from now, we'll talk about like images, and there are specific components that you can import that will help you build performant images. So
I don't think I'm not gonna let Generosa come back.
There you go. We'll not pair.
She's gonna have to arm wrestle
triple. Me. Yeah. There you go. Okay. So now that we have done that, what are we going to do next? Can we go back to the tutorial?
Shall we look at our tutorial?
Let's see. Back when I had this all.
And we've linked back to home and we tested it and it looked just like that.
Sweet.
Funny enough, reusable layout component.
Yes. Okay. Here we go. So now if you take a look at that link, the finished example blog link, this is basically like what we're building up to over the course of this series, is this sort of blog with a couple of different pages. And if you click on those different pages, I guess like click on the about page, you can see that parts of this layout are consistent across pages.
Nice. Yeah.
And so what we could do, like knowing what we know now, we could hard code this into like our about page and our homepage and our blog page. And that would work fine, but it's going to get frustrating if you decide like, oh, now I want my title to say something different. And you're going to have to go onto every single page and make those updates. But what would be really cool is if we had one shared component that we could import into all of these pages and then automatically apply the same structure and styles.
Like this nav.
Yeah, exactly. That is something that's repeated multiple places. So you can define it once and then use it wherever.
Cool.
And that's one of the cool things about thinking in components, is that it makes your chunks of your UI more reusable across your site. So let's go back a page to the tutorial.
Go back to the tutorial.
Yeah. So now what this is going to do, you got to scroll up.
Did we go all the way?
It like jumped you to the bottom. I don't know why.
Okay. Because Chrome.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is.
Technology. Okay, great. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a layout component. So this is going to be our first building block component that we're building ourselves. Totally custom. So if you can go into your source directory and make a new folder, we're going to call it, what are we going to call it? We're going to call it components.
Here we go.
There we go.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah. And this is just a convention. You could put these components wherever you want, but I like this because it keeps them all in one place, and then you can reuse them across your pages. So now you're going to create a new file in there called layout.js.
Okay.
Boom. Okay. And so now we're going to define a component again. So I'm going to let you put in the structure. So those 3 steps that we learned before.
Okay.
And then we will fill in the body from there.
This is how I'm going to do that.
There you go. Yep.
We'll have to make a bunch of changes, but
yeah.
So I just copied and pasted from my index page to save myself time.
Yep.
So we're definitely importing React.
Yep. That was step 1.
Okay. Do we still want to import link?
Yeah, you can leave it. We'll use it eventually.
Okay. And then, but this all probably needs to go now.
So that stuff will change.
Get rid of all that. We'll keep should we keep that export statement?
Yeah, so that'll be step 3 is exporting.
Okay.
We'll but then what was later. Step 2?
Step 2. Well, we need to do that.
Yeah. Step 2 will be just defining your component. So that basic structure.
Okay.
So this, we're going to call it a layout. That's just going to be the name of our layout component.
Okay.
Yep.
And then it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then are we doing a function?
Yep.
Okay. And this thing?
Yep.
And these.
Yep. Nailed it.
And a return.
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
Okay, so then remember your component is going to be a function, which we've got the outline, and it's going to return your JSX. So you'll want to return, and then I usually do like parentheses, just so that it like wraps all of the stuff.
So, oops.
There you go. Yeah, and then if you put a return in there, we can just put all of our JSX in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out all of the common bits of our component of our like page layout, and we're going to put them in here. So if you go back to your index and your about, I'm going to sort of let you look at this and see what are the chunks that are the same and what are the chunks that are different.
So we need every page needs a page title and an H1.
Yep.
At the least. Does the main?
So let's start there.
Okay. So I should just like copy this?
Yeah, for now.
Because then we can empty it out and make it import something. Okay. Okay. And then we're just going to paste that here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay. And then if you save this, you should see an error in your build. Well, actually, I don't know if it'll do it because you're not using this component yet.
Right. We haven't called it from somewhere. Okay.
Yeah. I want to show this error.
Yeah,
well, okay. So I guess if you go into, let's make a new page that will import this.
Okay. In our pages component. In our pages folder.
Yeah.
Okay. New file.
So let's make a contact page. What the heck?
Okay.
Cool. So now you're going to have your same basic 3 steps of like import React.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I guess you could just copy it from there.
Yeah.
And then we'll just swap out some stuff.
Okay. Yeah. And then we'll make replacements.
Yeah.
Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. Okay. And we're going to call this contact page. And this. Okay.
Okay. And then you can just delete all of the guts. So everything inside of that main. So from line 5 to line 12, you can delete all of that.
Literally that?
Yeah. Even the main, you can take that out too.
Oh. Slick. Okay.
Nice. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to import that layout component that we made, and we're going to render it in here just so that we can like load it as we're building it and see what it looks like.
Okay. So does that get done up here?
At the
top?
Yep.
Okay.
So you're going to import, and then you don't actually need, we have to look at, can you open up the layout component? Because those curly brackets, you need those curly brackets if it's not the default export. So this one,
so I should call
on line 11.
Call that layout?
Yep.
Okay.
Sweet. Okay. So now if you go back into your contact page, you don't need the curly brackets because it's the default layout or default export.
Okay.
Yep. So you'll do import layout, and then from, let's see, what is it? We're in pages, so you have to go up a level. So you'll have ... / components.
Oh, look
Yeah.
at that. It helps me out.
And then / layout.
Oh my God,
Sweet.
look at that. This is why people use VS Code.
I know. I love the
I've never had to
autocomplete.
do that before. All right.
Okay, sweet. So now inside of your return, we're just going to put the layout component.
Oh, okay. Like this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Layout like that?
Yeah, perfect.
Oh my God.
Sweet. And then let's just do that for now. So
Okay,
great.
the error.
Perfect. We've got this error that we wanted to see. So it's a little small. Can you, open
look
the
at
one
it in the browser?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these errors will be the same as the ones in your terminal in VS Code.
Okay.
It's just bigger now.
Expand it, make it a little easier to read. Okay.
Okay, great. So if you scroll down, what is...
Syntax error.
Okay, great. So it's telling you...
JSX elements must be wrapped in an enclosing tag. Did you want a JSS fragment?
Okay, great. So this is saying that adjacent JSX elements have to be wrapped in a single container. So if you go back to your components layout file.
Okay.
So see how here on line 6 and 7, we're returning 2 siblings. So we actually want this to be wrapped in something. So this is just like how React works, is every component can only return a single element.
Gotcha.
And that element can contain multiple elements inside of it, but at the top level, you can only have one thing.
Gotcha.
So we are going to wrap both of these inside of that main element that we had before. And that's just an HTML component.
Just like that?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. And then you'll just stick the closing one underneath. Or yeah, that works too.
So it'll format it for me because I love my formatting. Okay.
Love it.
And that
cool.
It didn't format that.
So now if you save it again, so see how that error goes away?
Indeed, and everything's back.
Sweet. Yeah, so now if you go to your contact page, because that's going to be the one that we're like testing out this layout on.
Right.
Sweet. So if you open it up in your browser, you should see...
contact.
Yeah, sorry.
Gotcha.
Boom. Okay, great. So you can see your title. The title is actually the thing that shows up in that browser tab.
Up here.
So you can see it says homepage up there. Yep. And then you've got your H1.
And then here's our
Sweet.
H1.
So we are on our way. So if you go back to your page, to your layout component, what we're going to do now is we're going to add in that nav bar here instead of in each page individually.
Nice.
So you can add a nav element. Let's see. Do you want it above or below your H1? Above might make more sense. I'm trying to think of what do sites normally look like?
Because eventually, like the H1 is going to be something different on each page, I would imagine.
Yep.
So we want the nav to be above all this. The title and the H1 will be different for each page.
I don't know I don't know if it matters where the title goes. I usually put it at the top. So you can put it in between. Let's put it in between the title and the H1.
So right here.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to add in a nav element.
Okay.
And that's the semantic element from HTML that says like, this is going to be navigation stuff. Okay. And now you can put in the links to your home page and your about page. So there's a code block of this in the tutorial that puts them in a list so that it's like you've got a list within your navigation.
Okay. Oh, okay. And then, so we've done this stuff. Huh. Is there a code scrap in here?
It should be. Let's see. Where is this? Try going up. Are they not loading? What if you refresh this page?
Maybe I'm
because they should be.
Okay.
There we go.
Is this it?
Yeah.
Wait.
So if you go
this is the about page.
Yeah, this is like a step ahead.
Oh, I see. It scrolled me down again. Okay.
Okay, great. So if you go up above that one.
Keep going. That's looking like a menu. Okay.
Sweet.
Is this it?
So,
okay.
So here you've got, inside of there, you've got a nav, and then you've got your list, and it's going to add these links to your home and your about page.
Cool. I have copied just the unordered list, and I'm going to paste it, and then we're going to fix the formatting. Okay. Very, very awkwardly. Okay. This should all be what is happening. Okay. And then that should be there.
Sweet. There we go. Okay, so now if you go back to your contact page in the browser.
Look.
Sweet. There you go. And that should work. And actually, now that we've got a contact page too, we should probably add another link to our navigation.
Contact. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And this is a perfect example of when using this component is useful, because then you don't have to add this to every single page. You can just add it to this layout component.
Yes. So all I had to do was copy and paste one of these and then change it to the right route, which is the name of the file in the left, and give it a name and save, baby.
Sweet.
And there it is.
Okay, so now the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to add some more props to this. So see how right now your layout component has that text hard-coded? It says homepage and welcome to my Gatsby site, even though this is not the homepage. So we want to make this dynamic. So the way that we're going to do that is by defining properties that this component takes, and then we can use those to render different things inside of our JSX.
That's what I want.
So inside of your layout, the parentheses at the top of the function on line 4, so you're going to put some curly brackets in there.
Okay. Oops.
And there you go. And then inside of that, let's see, we want something for the page title. And then we want something for the heading. So we can just name those.
Okay, we're just defining.
This is basically like, we're just like defining variables that we're going to use inside of our function.
Okay. So we want page title?
Yeah. So let's have one called page title, and let's have one called heading.
And what's the best formatting for these?
I usually do camel case.
Okay, like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So we got page title, and then what did I say? Heading.
Okay. Okay. Should we say page heading?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, sweet. So now we've defined these. So basically anybody who uses this layout component now, we're going to want them to pass in these props, similar to the way that we passed in that to prop to the link component. And then we can use the value of those props inside of our JSX.
Yep.
So now let's swap out the title here. And instead of homepage, what we're going to do is render the value of page title. So the way that you do that is by putting it inside of curly brackets.
That's what I was hoping you'd say. Okay.
Yep. And so that tells React like, hey, this thing that comes inside these curly brackets is actually going to be a JavaScript expression. So I want you to evaluate this variable and put it in here.
Got it.
Sweet. So now we're going to do the same thing for page heading for our H1. So I'll let you do that one.
Oh, down here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There we go.
Sweet. Okay, so now let's look at the page in the browser. So now you can see it's rendering our nav, but it's not rendering our title in the browser tab, and it's not rendering our H1 anymore. And that's because we're not passing in those values.
Yep.
So now let's go back to the contact page and make those updates.
Okay.
So this is sort of like how building React components go. Is like you have to bounce back and forth between like where you define the component and where you're rendering it.
Yep.
So let's pass in those props here. So the same way that you had the two, it's like inside of there. Now you're going to add the two props that we defined. So what were they? Page title.
Oh, and just like this, just loose. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the beauty of the thing is you can call them whatever you want. And then as long as the name matches what's in the component definition, it'll just pass those values in. Similar to the way that your like function parameters would work.
Right. Now, it didn't seem to like the comma, or is it just because I need that?
Yeah. So you won't actually need a comma. It looks kind of like HTML attributes, how you just kind of keep sticking them on there.
Okay. Look, and it gave me that one, so I don't need
Nice.
Okay.
Okay. And then the way that you assign a value to it is after, so it'll be like page title equals, and then.
Okay.
Yep.
And
then because these are strings, yeah, we can just pass in something.
So this is contact page, or I'm just gonna leave it contact.
Nice.
And page title contact us.
Sweet.
I'll do it.
So now if you save that, or actually if you leave them different, it helps because then you can see like which one goes to which one. So it was good instinct. Okay, great. So now let's open it back up. Whoop. Boom. There she is.
It says contact us up here.
Yep.
Contact there.
Nailed it.
Nice.
Great. So now that we have this shared structure, I'm going to, well, actually, there's one more thing that we need to do. So now we have to learn about a special prop that React gives your components by default, and that's called children. So if you go back to the tutorial, there should be, let's see, where is it?
Here's some children right there.
Nice. Yeah. So there's actually a picture actually here. Let me share my screen because I have this open. Let me see. What's going to happen if I try to share both? Okay, great. So in React, you've got this concept called children, which basically, because it's basically like the contents inside of your component. So here, the way that your link component rendered, you had the opening tag, you had this stuff that was inside of it, and then you had the closing tag. So everything that's inside of your component gets passed in as a prop called children. And so that's how you can like swap out. So sorry, let me scroll down and look at this picture. This might help explain it. So you can think of our layout component as sort of like a picture frame. So we're defining our picture frame, what the frame looks like, but we want to be able to put that layout around any contents. Like we could have like the text for our homepage or the text for our contact page.
Gotcha.
The body, like the children, basically what's inside of there is going to be swap outable. You can you can swap out whatever you want, but the frame, the layout will remain the same.
Gotcha.
Across each page.
Understood.
So the way that you do that is with this children prop. So here you can see like if you were going to define a gallery page that used a frame component, this is like the equivalent of our layout where, you know, you've got your layout here and then you can pass in some other stuff. And then when you render it, you can add in this children prop into your function definition, and it'll pull this in automatically as children. And so then you can render it the same way that you would render any other variable like this.
Cool.
So that was kind of a lot, but I'm going to swap back over to your screen and then we can go through that.
We're going to do it
together.
and it'll be very clear.
Yeah, we're going to do it. Exactly.
Cool.
So to start, let's put the children inside of our layout definition.
Okay. A quick question, Megan.
Mm-hmm.
We're not missing any questions in the chat or anything, are we?
Nope, not so far. Okay. Yeah, realizing now that I've just been sort of barreling along. So if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Okay, but in the meantime, let's go in and add this children prop in here now. So on line 4, you're going to add that. Oh yeah, you can do this first.
It comes after the page. I'm just doing exactly what I see there in the example.
Yeah, perfect. Yep. Okay. So that's going to say render the children here. And then this error, what does it say?
Render the children. I saved it, so we're probably missing something that we need, right?
Yeah.
Children's not defined, so we need to import something.
Okay. Not import it this time because this one is one of the automatic props that React sets up for you. So you just have to add it on line 4, saying like this layout component has a prop called children.
Oh, I see. We need to pass it in.
Yep.
Here. Okay. So comma children.
Yep.
Okay.
Sweet. Okay. And so now this should be good with no errors. It won't actually show you anything different on your page yet. So let's go back and look at the contact page. Yeah, so you can see that it still looks the same. So now inside of our contact page component, let's pass in some children. So now in between the opening and closing tag, we're just going to put some stuff in there. So on line 7.
Inside the layout?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so you can put whatever you want in there. Let's put a paragraph.
Okay.
And...
Okay.
Nice. Love it. Okay. So if you save that and then go back to your browser, you can see that now it's taking the contents of your layout component and shoving that into this page.
Okay.
You've done it.
Woo!
So now let's update our other 2 pages. So our home page and our about page to use our layout component.
Gotcha.
So step 1 is going to be to import it. So you have to import the component and say like, hey, this is a thing that we're going to use.
Where's the index? There it is. Okay.
Sweet.
And then we want to, we need to do like a whole new. Oh,
yep.
no. Okay.
Yeah, you can mostly copy.
Just take the return statement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And we'll.
Yeah, and we can just.
Oh, we're going to pass things in. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to pass in. This is going to say home. So I'll make them different so we can tell the difference. Site, home. And we had in here, it was like, welcome to my cool page.
Sweet. Nice. Okay, and now if we go back to the home page in the browser, you should see your changes. Ta-da!
Yay!
Okay,
brilliant.
Awesome.
Okay. And then we just want to do this again over on about.
Yep.
Okay. And take this guy. It says, I'm about to be a pro Gatsby dev. Okay. Oops. Oh, bear with me. I accidentally copied again instead of pasted.
I do that all the time.
About me. Keep our keep our
actually,
system.
it looks like right now you're in a contact copy. You're in a copy of your contact page.
I accidentally copied it when I was doing all that stuff. Okay, hold on. Can we delete? We can. Yes, we want to delete that. Trash that trash. Okay. Let's try this again. Copy. About. Okay. Getting a little bit too cute. Doing weird things. Okay. About us, because I do go by us. Oh God. Pardon. Alexa's reminding me of things. About us. We are about to be a pro Gatsby dev.
Sweet.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Sweet. There you go. See, so now we have this reusable component, and we can make changes to our layout just in that one place, and it'll automatically get propagated to all of these other pages.
Very cool.
All right. Sweet. So that was a lot of things so far. We have one last thing that we're going to do today. So if you have any questions on what we've done so far, feel free to drop those in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to move on to styling. So I am by no means a CSS expert. I know enough to get by. I know enough to build that example site that you saw earlier. So nothing too flashy, but we can make it look a little bit better than this sort of default styles that we have right now.
Cool.
So Gatsby does not care what kind of styling that you want to use. If you want to use, regular CSS, if you want to use, what is it? CSS in JS. Yeah, if you want to use any of those things, we've got a lot of plugins for different kinds of styling approaches. What we're going to use in this series and in the tutorial is something called CSS modules. And so what that lets you do is scope your styles to a specific component so that you don't have like the normal problem of your class names clashing with each other. So like if you had a class name inside of your layout component and you had the same class name inside of your about page, those styles would overlap and it would just be like whichever one comes second would win. But with CSS modules, it changes, it like adds on some extra, like a hash to the end of your class name so that you can have the same name across multiple components and it'll all still work okay. If that didn't mean anything to you, don't worry about it. We're just gonna just follow along and it'll all be okay. So if you go back to the tutorial in your browser, the next section is going to be about styling. Sweet. Yeah, this one. So we are going to do this in two chunks. So we're going to start off just by styling the main container on your layout. So if you scroll down a little bit, yeah. So the first step is going to be to create our CSS file. So inside of components, you're going to make a new file called called layout.module.css.
Okay. Every time. I'm sorry, everyone. Please forgive me. I'm going to try it one more time. And if I give everybody vertigo.
There we go.
Okay. So it's going inside components.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I usually like to keep my styles just next to the JavaScript file.
Okay.
Yep. There you go. And the .module part is important here because that's what tells, I think it's Webpack, that this is going to use CSS modules. And Gatsby will work with CSS modules right off the bat, so you don't have to import any plugins or any extra tools to use that.
Cool.
So now we've got our file here, and you can just put in JavaScript classes, or JavaScript classes. You can put in CSS classes in here the way that you normally would in a CSS file. So we're going to start by defining this class here for our container.
which I just
Sweet.
copied and pasted from the tutorial.
Love it. So this is going to change the font family. It's going to also like give a max width for our body so that it doesn't, so that it like centers the content on the page.
Okay.
So if you save this and now go into your layout folder or file. Yeah.
We need
so
to
the
use
next
this
step,
class.
the next step now is to import this class and apply it to the element that we want. So what you're going to do to import is go on to line 3.
Okay.
And this is going to be a named import, which means you're going to use the curly brackets.
Okay.
So import and then the curly brackets. And inside of here, you're going to put the name of the class. So that'll be container.
Container. And is that capitalized? Okay.
Yep. Not capitalized. Sorry, I lied.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Sweet.
That's it?
And then import container from the file. So it'll be, what is this? /
Oops. Oh, what's happening? I don't know what that was. Okay. From /.
Yep. So / and then layout.modules.
Okay.
Or layout.module.css.
Okay. We don't need the component. Oh, because we're in there. Right. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Because we're already in. So the single dot says from the current
That's one thing
directory.
I've always failed at really miserably is doing that.
Okay. No worries. Okay.
File paths elude me to this.
Yeah.
Day. Okay.
Okay. Sweet. So now we've imported that. Let's console log it out just so that we can see what it looks like. So if you, I think you can probably just do it like on line 4. Let's just console log container.
Okay. Console.log like this.
Oh yeah. It might be helpful to also put like a string beforehand, like container, just so that you know that this is the right message. So like console log, and then inside of there, inside.
Oh, you want a string? Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. So we know what the heck we're looking at.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And then we're doing that.
You can do a comma. You can probably also do.
log.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if you just type the word container, so this will stick your thing in there. And now if we go back to the browser, hopefully we will see this. Yeah. So if you open up your dev tools, it'll be in there.
Okay.
So if you click on console, and then can you make it bigger if you do like command plus?
Yeah, sure.
Sweet.
Maybe just a little smaller so we can see it. Anyway, it's down here at the bottom. Container layout module container.
Yeah. So see how that class name now looks different. There's like extra stuff that gets added onto it so that it will be unique. Basically, this says like this is the container class, but it's scoped to this layout module, and then it adds an extra hash at the end, just to be safe.
Cool.
So now what we're going to do is apply that class name onto onto the main element here inside of our layout component. So on line 8.
Am I grabbing this from the console?
No, that's just to show like this is what it's going to look like.
Okay. We don't need that exact class
name.
name.
You don't need that.
Okay.
So on your main, you're going to add a class name. And this will be camel case.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So another thing that's different about React is instead of just saying class equals the way that you would in HTML, you're actually going to use class name equals.
Oh, and that's camel cased like that? Okay.
Yep. And then instead of quotes, we're gonna do our like JSX. We're gonna insert the JavaScript value in there. So in your curly brackets.
Okay.
Yep. So this says, give me the value of container.
Okay. So we're going to say container?
Yep.
Okay. Nice.
Sweet. Okay, and now if you save that and go back and look at, yep. So now
sans serif.
Yep, sans serif. And if you also make it bigger, you can see now the content, instead of being stuck to the left side, it's going to adjust.
Auto
adjust
margins,
in the middle.
keeping
it.
Yeah.
Love it. Center things.
Nice.
Sweet.
Gotcha.
So that's the basic process for adding styles. The next chunk is just going to add a bunch more styles, so a bunch of different classes. So we can go through that last piece. So if you go back into the tutorial and scroll down, there should be another code block. Yep, so this shows you how to apply the styles, but if you scroll down some more
CSS right here.
So now there's more styles. So we're going to copy in all of those into our layout CSS file.
I don't know whether it'll do the container twice. It did. Okay, so we'll get it.
Yep, so that's fine.
All right.
Cool. Sweet. So one thing to take a look at here, so you can see how on line 10, you've got nav dash links. Keep that in mind. Like in your CSS file, you can use dashes, which is like the convention for CSS, but then it's going to look slightly different when we import them. And that's because of the way that CSS modules will just smush stuff together under the hood. So now we've got these classes defined, but we have to actually link them to elements in our layout component. So what was the first thing that we have to do you think?
We have to go back to layout.
Yep.
So let's see. So we have heading. So we want to take our heading. I guess that's the page title. No, page heading.
Yep.
Okay. And we're going to do class name. And equals and brackets. And it was called, I should have copied it, heading. Except that, oh no, and it's lowercase. Like that? Okay.
Yep, perfect.
Let's see if it did it.
Okay, so see how now you've got, what is this error?
Oh yeah, let's see what it says, I guess. Error, heading is not defined. No.
Okay.
Undef.
So what are we missing?
Oops. We did not define it.
Look towards the top.
Oh, we need to import. Oh, we need to import every class?
Yep. Yeah. So this is where it can get a little bit tedious. And this is actually a change from Gatsby version 2. So with that version of CSS modules, you could just like import all the styles at once. But here you have to import them, each one individually.
Oh my. And are we doing, do we have to do a new import line every time, or can I do comma?
Nope. Yeah, you can do comma.
Heading like that.
Yeah, sweet.
All right. That
awesome.
Fixed it.
So now, so what does that heading actually do?
Oops, hello. Sorry. It was supposed to make it purple.
Okay, so that.
Wait, let me refresh.
What if you refresh it?
There we go.
There we go.
It's purple.
Perfect. Okay,
thank you,
great.
girl.
So now let's do the next one.
Okay. Nav links.
So this is where that dash thing is going to be a little bit different. So when you're importing it, you can camel case this instead. It'll convert that nav dash links to a camel case nav links. Yep, just like that.
And then we're going to put it on the nav.
Yeah, that one is actually going to go on the UL.
On the UL. Okay.
So the container for the links.
Okay, Kirsten. Okay.
You got this.
Same thing?
Yep.
Down here?
Same deal.
Okay.
Okay. And then if you see how now it's smushed them
it's
all in one line. And so now let's do the next one.
And now we want a thing called nav link item. So we need to do nav link item. And I'm going to copy it and make things faster. Oh, that's going to go in the item.
Yep.
I'm picking up. I'm starting to catch on. Okay. And we do that. And we do that. Oh, do we have to do it on all of them? I guess.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Awesome.
Come on, baby. There we go.
Cool. So now you can see we've got some padding in there. Yep. And then the last one is going to be nav link text.
Nav link text. Nav link text. Okay. Up here. Nav link text. Text. I'm going to copy it.
Sweet. And then this one is going to actually go on each of the links.
So it needs to go right in here inside the link?
Yep.
Tag. Okay. And is it better to have it after?
It doesn't matter, but after is probably easier because then you can have all of the
for people to
required props beforehand. Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah. Brackets. It's really hard to break that quotation marks out of it. I want you to know. Okay, and then we're going to put that on all of them. I think I included the space. Yes, I did.
Okay. So if we save this. Woo! Okay, so now those links are all black.
Nice.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Sweet. And that's it. That's all of the React stuff for today.
Oh my
What questions do folks have in the chat? Kirsten, what questions do you have?
I did have a question.
Yeah, let's do it.
About children, about the children stuff. So and maybe this is for the next segment, and if it is, that's cool. We have about us. We are about to be pro Gatsby devs. What if I wanted this to be, strong or bold or italicized or whatever?
Yeah, so you can put whatever JSX inside that you want. Like you can pass in multiple React elements. You could pass in something like this, like text wrapped in something else. You could wrap it in a paragraph. You could pass in another component if you wanted.
Right. Because I can see where we might want this to be like this, right? Not strong's probably out of fashion now, but making it a paragraph, right? And then that'll work.
You could totally do that. Yep. And if you duplicated that, you could even have multiple paragraphs. I guess let's try it. Let's see.
Okay.
Sweet. So now if we go to our about page,
cool.
So you can stick anything in there, and it's just the children prop is just going to take everything inside of your layout, opening and closing tag, and just render it.
And I could do a span inside there, right? Okay. And then we could be applying different styles to these different
elements.
Nice. Cool. That's what I was thinking about when we were going through that was, are we able to apply that kind of stuff inside the children area now?
Yep. So you can do all of those same React things inside of children. Children just gives you a way to access the content that's inside of the opening and closing tags.
Nice. This is all very logical.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
I'm looking at how this seems to be up here on line 2. Notice how it's kind of
grayed out.
It looks like VS Virtual Studio Code is trying to tell me something.
Yeah. So what that means, if you hover over it, it actually showed you.
It'll tell me
the warning. Yeah. So it says that it's declared, but its value is never read. So basically, now that we're using the layout, we don't actually need.
We could get rid of
to import this anymore. Yep. Nice. And I think that was on your other pages as well.
Yeah, it is. Okay, cool.
Yep, so you can delete that from everywhere.
But React doesn't break just because you declare something and don't use it. Which is a thing I'm used to happening to me in Go.
Oh, interesting.
But we do Okay. Saved. Okay.
Sweet.
And that was all of them, right? Yeah. Okay.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
So the last step, I guess, is to commit this. And then when you push it to GitHub, because you've already set up your Gatsby site from part one, the changes will automatically trigger a new build in Gatsby Cloud. And then when that build finishes, it will deploy your changes live to your site hosted on Gatsby hosting.
We should totes do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to commit this stuff. You can either open a new terminal. There's like a plus sign in the menu. Yeah, or you can do there.
Or
Sweet.
I magically have one open now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you make the text a little bit bigger?
Oh, yes. How's that? And then I'll make this window smaller.
Ah, perfect.
Bananas. Okay. Oh,
sweet.
Okay.
So now if you do like git status, just to show folks what's in here.
It's a little hard to read. I apologize.
So you can see there's a bunch of new stuff that we've added. So our components directory, our about page, our contact page, and we've changed the index. Normally I would go through and like do git add -p and like step through each of these changes individually. But because we did it all together and I trust you, we can just do git add and the period.
Oh, okay.
And that'll just say add all of this stuff to staging. And then yep, it's all green, which means it'll all be in our next commit.
Okay.
And then you can make the message whatever you want. What did we do? Add React components.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or you could be more specific.
And new pages. We don't need to, right? Okay.
Love it.
Okay.
Okay. And now you
git push
will
origin main.
Yeah. I usually just do git push, but I think origin main will work.
Okay. Oh, well, we can do git push. Should be fine, right? I could save myself some typing with these kinds of things.
Sweet.
There we go.
Okay, and because you pushed directly to main, and your Gatsby site is hooked up to look at the main branch of your repo, it'll see, oh, these changes have happened and kick off a new build. So if you go to your Gatsby Cloud dashboard, I think it should just be /dashboard. GatsbyJS.com/dashboard.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you're logged in, it'll...
And I am, so we should be good.
Sweet.
Okay.
Nice. And then, let's see. If you go up to... Where did you...
We're seeing a lot of
build
things.
your site?
On my own
Go up
stuff.
to customer sites in the top, next to cloud, the drop down.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, and then go to yours. Sweet. And then which of these was...
I don't know why it's not there. That's very odd. Oh, wait, is it something idle? I just did this today.
Yeah. Did you see it build when you did it today?
Yeah, I did. I still have the URL. We can always cheat, probably. That one that I sent you. You know, did I do it? I thought I did it under me. I would hope I did it under me and not under the entire company. Let's search. What did I even call it? Tutorial.
Oh, there you go.
Is that me? Oh my God. Kirsten. Okay.
Okay, sweet. So now you can see, though, that it kicked off this new build 1 minute ago. Built and published 1 minute ago. So if you click on the link now to your site, ta-da! There it is. Live on the internet.
On the internet, and that's home, and that's about, and that's contact.
Huzzah! You've done it.
Yay! And it's super fast. Blazingly fast.
Sweet.
Thank you, Megan.
Yeah, thank you. So that's all for this time. If you want to join for part 3, we're going to be talking about plugins. So this is where we're really going to get into some like Gatsby stuff. This time was a lot of React basics, but next time we'll talk more about specifically like Gatsby's differentiators.
Plugins are the secret sauce.
Yeah, exactly.
of
So
Gatsby.
yeah,
Do we
any
want
last
to?
things that we want to plug?
Do you happen to have the link? I don't know how long it would take me to find it. I'd like to give us 2 seconds, folks. And do you have the link for the swag? Handy. If I can stop sharing screen, I will grab it.
Yeah, we're just looking at our faces now. So
oh,
go for it.
Okay, that makes me feel a little safer. Okay, because ain't nobody want to see what is my desktop.
Secrets.
And my 8,000 text files that I keep open at any given time.
Same.
I found it that fast.
Nice.
That is exciting. Okay, let me go give you this link, I think. And then you can put it in Twitch.
Yeah.
So we will give away 5 store codes to our Gatsby Swag store today. For anybody who enters, we'll draw 5 winners from this and contact you and send you a swag code to get free swag from the Gatsby store, which everybody loves.
Hooray! Okay, cool. Well, we'll see you all next time, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Megan. This was fun.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for being my guinea pig.
It's great. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.